It's Durango Kid number 18, Golden Age comic book. The inside of this has some kind of ad for Swiss Air Switzerland Airlines. That pink there is the other side of the cover bleeding through. This is from 1952. It's an interesting story here. This group is like the Ku Klux Klan, but in this story they call it XXX. It's kind of interesting. They're terrorizing the town. They throw this little note through the newspaper. Last notice, the West for Westerners, keep the West pure. All newcomers and foreigners has got to go. Them as don't leave gets killed. So the Durango Kid here says, well, he's in his secret identity. Man, this is dead wrong. This is ignorance and hate. Why, except for the Indians, I guess just about everybody in this country is a newcomer. So this is sort of an anti-racist, anti-being evil to the foreigner story. Then the sheriff comes along. Like, I'll take care of it. Don't you do nothing. Because they were talking about taking up arms against the XXX themselves. They got the same costumes as the Ku Klux Klan, so they don't have the pointy hats. They get this guy for being a foreigner, Benjamin Green. They don't tell where he's from. They take him from his wife and kids, tie him to the horse, and they drag him to death. That's kind of depressing though, because I live in Texas. They had some guy was dragged to death a few years ago by the back of a car or truck. So this shit still goes on today. The guy dies. They bring him into town. They're talking about taking up arms against the Klan, or the XXX. And the sheriff's like, there's no evidence it was the XXX. He's like, whatever. Then they make a comment to each other that the sheriff's horse looked like it had covered with dust. Like he was in one of the ones that was out there where they found the dead man. Like the sheriff is a member of the XXX. So the newspaper editor decides to follow the sheriff because he thinks something fishy's going on too. And the Durango Kid's close behind. Then they find out the sheriff is working with the XXX. Putting his robe on here. He's like the leader. Then the newspaper editor confronts him. And they get him like they're about to kill him. But then the Durango Kid comes to the rescue. Ties up the terrorists. And Durango Kid's partner's waiting for these guys to show up, so he starts shooting at them. And they break into the house. They're about to kill Durango Kid's partner here. And Durango Kid shows up with the rescue again. Beats up all the XXX members. And they capture the bad guys. End of story. There's a little ad for combat action toys. There's another Durango Kid story. In this one, the Durango Kid and his partner go have dinner with the sheriff and his son. And some bad guys start shooting through the window here. It's another one of those bad cowboy gangs trying to take over the town. They're always robbing and stuff, and they always do it in the rain because it covers their tracks. So the Durango kid knows something's going to happen when it rains, so he's ready. He witnesses this hold up at the bar, so he comes through, tries to stop him. He winds up arresting some of the gang members, but they don't talk about who else is in the gang. Then the sheriff's wife shows up. They got a note saying, release the prisoners or we're going to kill your son. So the sheriff has to release the prisoners because he wants his son back safe. And the Durango kid follows them in the nighttime to find out where they're at. And this guy says he's going to hold on to the kid for a while until they finish all the robbing and stealing. Then this Mexican guy, Pedro, is supposed to come take the kid across the border. But the Durango kid attacks him and puts his costume on. And then when he shows up to take the kid, he pops out of the costume, Durango kid here. So he shoots has a little gun battle, shoots all the lights out. Turns the light on, he finds out the sheriff's son knocked over one of the guys with a baseball bat. So then the sheriff's son's back home. End of story. Now this story here, Dan, Brandon, Tippy, these guys are Indians. This is kind of a weird story. There's some kind of group that wants to make a king of America. This story is continued from another issue. So they're going undercover to try to find these bad guys who want to bring a king to America. The Secret Force is the name of this group. Then the Indians show up, but these guys are on to them. They pull some kind of switch here, the bad guys. Then the Indians have to jump out of the way. All these knives are falling from the ceiling. Then they're trying to get out. The window is locked. Then they try to go out the door here. The door is locked. Then the guy looks down from up above. They got a trap door that falls open. They fall out into this room down below, and they start flooding it with water. And then later on, they go back down and they find there's a little space here they can swim through. And they come back up out of the water and come back to confront these guys. Bust through the window, beat up the bad guys. Some of the bad guys get away, sailing back to Europe, talking about, I will return and I will put a king on the throne of America. And this guy's, we'll be ready for you. There will never be a king in America. That's the end of the story. Trouble on the Trail Drive. Well, this story here is kind of weird. In this story, it's a Mexican gang of outlaws who are robbing, stealing, and killing Americans with their money. Because it's the end of the Civil War. They decide they want to take back California, New Mexico, and Arizona. They want to get an army going with all the money they steal, the Mexicans. This woman here ran into their treasure, so they were trying to kill her. They put her in a stagecoach and set it on fire. And here they're they robbed a stagecoach, the Mexicans, and they kill a bunch of innocent people. Then they rob a bank, and they kill all the innocent people. So that's kind of interesting. The first story of this comic book is like telling you not to hate foreigners, and this story here is kind of baiting foreigner hate, so it's kind of ironic. So the kid's going after to try to find some clues. Then a noose comes down. The Durango kid has to get away. They got him by the neck. He puts his boots, spurs into the side of the wall to knock dust down so they can't shoot him, can't see him. He puts one hand around the neck so he don't choke, and then he kicks these guys. Gets up on the roof. And he kills a couple of them, or shoots them. Shoots some more bad guys down below. And they said they're only wounded. And he runs off looking for the treasure. He kind of figures out that in the story that the treasure is hid in this cave, but you can only see it during low tide. These guys here are talking about it. Whenever there's a low tide, there's a mist in the air that hides the cave where the treasure is, all the stolen treasure is. Yeah, shooting here. They shoot his rope. He's almost falling off the cliff, and he jumps, shoots some bad guys, finds the cave with the treasure, shoots another bad guy. And this part of the story is kind of stupid. He finds all this stolen treasure, and then he just throws it into the ocean. Let the sea keep this treasure that men may live in peace. Yeah, Durango, why didn't you return the stolen treasure to the people who it rightfully belonged to, though? I think they just got lazy. They wanted to end the story, so they had him throw it in the ocean. It's kind of funny. Newest records, 298. 18 hillbilly hits. 18 best loved hymns. 18 hit parade tunes. Uncle Bernie's Fun Shop. Buy Now. Slot Machine. Sandy the Doll. Cowboy Puppet. Fish Bowl. Peanut Bank. Wow, what a bunch of great merchandise. Complete 15-piece Bronco Buster's cowboy outfit, $1.98. Or an entire cowgirl outfit. Wow. So that's Durango Kid.